let me start. So I'm going to just talk about the blockchain usage in the telecom industry. What are the use cases? What kind of use cases can be solving telecom industry specific problems? A short biography. So I'm a computer engineer. I'm an enterprise architect and developing software since 1993. I'm an expert in telecom OSS, BSS, and digital transformation, especially in telecom industry. I'm teaching data science and machine learning in the university, University of Ryerson, and I'm enthusiastic about blockchain. I cannot say that I'm expert, I'm learning, and I'm enthusiastic about the blockchain technology. So the scope or the contents of this presentation will be: what are the potential use cases of blockchain in telecom? What kind of use cases can be implemented or look logical while implementing blockchain? And what are the use cases in general that can be used by telecom, and the specific one that apply only to telecom sector? And what are the next steps, how to start, what to do to start with? So this is a brief table that shows what kind of use case types exist in telecom, like categories like telecom is dealing with privacy, identity or security or asset management or billing, SLAs and digital rights. So these are the type of categories or the type of use cases that the telecom is dealing with. And what kind of blockchain features are useful while addressing these concerns or these categories, like working in a trustless environment, functionality or feature of blockchain is relevant for all kind of categories that you see here. And most of them are relevant, like distributed ledger requiring no intermediaries, decentralized consensus for the integrity, immutability to prevent the tampering, especially in billing, near real-time updates, maintaining the consistency, and verifiability supporting the auditing part. And then the timestamps and sequencing support chronology. So this is nothing to do with the privacy, but the rest of the use cases are relevant. And scripted transactions support smart contract and fractional currency for microtransactions, where we have the money like SLAs and digital rights. So this is briefly type of categories of interest. And by the way, there is a document here in TM Forum, published in TM Forum, so this is not from me. And this is a nice document describing the details of this categories and how can we have a project or we start a project on these use cases. So if we come to the generic list of use cases, nothing, I mean, telecom specific or non-telecom specific ones. So here is a mind map. I found 6 areas or subdomains where the blockchain can be useful, like roaming and settlement. Recording of roaming transaction. For online roaming means somebody just going to another country out of the operator's region and trying to make a call. So basically 2 operators are involved in this and they're charging each other for that roamed call. So how do they do the real-time cost settlement? Or eliminating of CDR, call detail records, for billing, settlement, and fraud, because there are systems, central databases that record those CDRs flowing from the network. How can we eliminate those CDRs for this billing and charging and settlement and fraud? And decentralized wholesale roaming agreements. So the operators, they're charging each other and they're selling roaming agreements as a wholesale to each other to cover these kind of roaming calls. The second subdomain is the payment, where the cross-carrier mobile money is becoming important. and cross-border digital wallet-based money transfer. So every customer in a prepaid environment or even a postpaid environment, they do have a digital wallet where their subscription fees are deducted. So they're allowed in some cases to do some purchases with that money because this is the customer's money in reality. So how do we make this money available for cross-border transfers? A third subdomain, which is a huge subdomain in itself, is the mobile number portability or number portability. And the ones that I put a thumbs up are the ones that are specific to the telecom. The other ones can be used in other industries as well, like ID management and authentication, nothing special for the telecom industry, but these use cases are relevant for telecom industry as well. So these can be just copy-paste, applied to the telecom operators as well. The SLA management, like automation and streamlining of incident ticket SLA operations, and the asset management, which is a device theft or a network asset sharing for 5G. So this is a very interesting area where all of the operators are trying to move to 5G, but the 5G requires 3 or 4 times more network investment. So the coverage area are getting narrower, so you need to invest more to install new antennas, new passive devices to be able to provide the same network. It's becoming 5 times costly. So is there a way to share the resources between the operators and take a log or record a log based on the usage? Which one is used the most? So create some usage logs or CDRs so that they can share the investment. So going to the telecom specific use cases, which use cases are only for telecom? And I have 2 use cases with some potential solution proposals. I'll not go into the details of every one of them. I'll just take only 2 of them. So the first one is the mobile number portability. Basically, there's a customer with a phone number, and sorry, sorry about this. You'll be seeing some Teams messages. Let me turn it off. Okay. So the customer is trying to move from one operator to the other one. So the problem is that the phone number is the asset of the CSP. It is managed by the existing CSP, so it needs to be transferred to the new CSP. So, and there's a central authority that is managing this resources, the ownership of the resources. So what's happening in the existing world, the customer wants to move from an old operator to the new one. He comes and says, I want to just port in my number from the old operator. So request to port in his number. Then the operator calls, the new one calls to the old operator saying that the customer wants to move to our company. So please release the phone number so that we can take over. And the old operator calls the customer and says, an operator called me and said that you're moving to them. Is it correct? Can I release your number? Am I allowed to release and transfer to the new CSP? And of course you say yes. Then the transfer happens. The old CSP ports out the number and the new one ports in the number. And the new CSP communication service provider informs the central authority about this move so that the phone number appears on his list of assets. And once this is done, the phone number is moved to the new operator, and the operator notifies the customer saying that his transaction is completed. He can use his existing or old phone number. So this is the way it's happening for now. What are the issues of this approach? First of all, there is a single point of failure. there is a central authority, a central database holding all phone numbers and the owners of those numbers. And this database is periodically updated, synchronized to the service providers. In one of the operators that I work with, every 4 hours that database is updated, synchronized with that central authority. So single point of failure, if this fails, no updates. 2 CSRs, 2 customer sales representatives calling the customer about the single move. The old one wants to just make sure that he is moving. The new one asking him to move to the new one. So 2 communications. And there is a semi-manual process of number transfer. So the old operator releasing, the new operator taking over, and these are manual. This one needs to release, the other one just calling and asking what is the status, is it completed? After the completion, this waits. So there are lots of waits. In some countries, it's taking 4 or 5 days. In some countries, 1 or 2 hours, but still the unit of wait time is hours or days. What can be a solution to this using the blockchain? This is one of the ways. There may be lots of different ways. So the customer can call the old communication service provider before moving to the new provider. He can say, just give me a port out authorization code. So the old CSP can put it on the blockchain, and then the customer gets to the new CSP with authorization codes. And the new CSP puts that record, and the transfer is done. Old CSP does the transfer, and the phone is here, because the old CSP needs to validate if this authorization code is the one that he gave or not. And the CSP gets the code, and the new CSP informs the customer. As you've seen, there is no notification to the central authority because everything is in one database, distributed, real-time, and trusted. So this is one of the ways of solving the MNP. Another use case is phone theft. So you have a device, it's stolen, you want to block it, you want to make it useless so that whoever stole it cannot use it. So the mobile devices, they come with a IMEI number, which is called International Mobile Equipment Identity. And the CSPs are able to detect these numbers because the phone is connecting to the network. The network needs to get the equipment identity and check it in a database, whether this device is a stolen one or a normal. So when the device is stolen, the only thing that you can do is you can just call the CSP and say, my device is stolen, please block it. And you need to inform the police as well, because there are some legal consequences as well. So what the customer does, let's assume the phone is stolen, device is stolen, the owner calls the police, calls the CSP, and the CSP records this in a database, which is blocked IMEI, block list, so that the network doesn't let the device make another call. And then the CSP records the IMEI on a global database as stolen. And all of the other CSPs download the database sometimes, and they record it in their databases, like blocked IMEI. And whenever the device appears in another part of the world and tries to make a call, the device is blocked because the CSP now blocked it, the second CSP. So what are the issues with the current approach? Well, customer cannot block his device himself. He needs to call the CSP. He doesn't have any control on it. And the CSP has access to these local and global databases. So he needs to make a call to CSP. And he needs to call the police. The CSP needs to update 2 databases, the local one and the global one. And the other CSPs have to fetch those databases, synchronize the databases, and update their local databases. So there are so many database updates, synchronizations happening in parallel. And all of them are open to errors, of course. A solution, a way to solve the phone theft with blockchain is that we have the same customer with his phone. So first of all, whenever the phone is purchased, the subscriber data or the owner data needs to be put on a blockchain at the purchase time to prove that this belongs to this customer. So when the phone is stolen, the subscriber declares the stolen device, and the stolen device appears in another part of the world, tries to make a call. The CSP, when he noticed that there's an IMEI trying to make a call, checks the ownership and sees that this is stolen. The call is blocked, doesn't let the device make a call. And since it knows the location of the device, it can notify the police with the device location and the operator about the device location. So this is a solution, as I said, using the blockchain, where the simplicity is that we have one database, which is a distributed, which is trusted, and everybody can get access to it. So having said that, how to start, where to start, how to just do a project. So the first thing that needs to be done, just pick the domain of interest. There are privacy, identity, security, asset, billing, SLA, digital rights. So which domain is most important for your use cases? And then you need to identify what features do you need to use in this domain, the features that are coming with blockchain, and build a draft use case. And we can help to just extend the use case and provide a solution proposal. And even TM Forum is just creating the catalyst projects, like proof of concept projects, where the vendors and the real operators work in a sandbox environment to work on the project, the POC, and see the feasibility of the solution. So there are ways of starting a project for the operators and with the real operators and vendors. And once you see that the POC goes through, then you can start the real implementation of this project. So this is all that I have. If you have any question, please unmute yourself and let me try to answer. You're welcome, Irina. No question? Okay. Thank you. Then I guess we can stop. Okay, Rob. Yes, I'm here. Good question. First of all, these are being standardized during these days. You know, the TM Forum is trying to standardize the implementations, the architectures, the interfaces. So this is a big work. I cannot say that start now and you'll be able to do it within, say, 6 months, 12 months. So it needs to be distributed. Everybody needs to be part of this initiative as well. So the standards organizations are playing big roles in this. So therefore, yes, if you want to start, you cannot do it right away, especially for the MNP. So it needs to be adopted by the country sometimes, or the central organization. But I know in India there was a project. Yes, TM Forum has a special study group on blockchain, and they're working on the use cases and the document that I shared on the presentation. So it's one of these initiatives. They have 9 different projects where the vendors and the CSPs are working on it. So I remember in one of the presentations, so India has worked on the this spam calls, and they tried to just create a central database for this spam calls, and all of the operators are just integrating to that infrastructure because it's useful, because it's just blocking the spam calls to the customers, because they say in India, every day you get a couple of calls, somebody trying to sell something to you, so you can block it, you can just allow them. So they're working on these kind of projects. Yeah, number porting is one of the project initiative, the Catalyst group that I took the example. Well, though the solution proposal was my proposal, their proposal was a bit different, but yes, they do have a group for that. Did I answer your question? Thank you. Any other question? Yeah. Well, it's correct. But you know what? I see the blockchain as kind of a revolution that is happening on the way the databases are evolving. So whenever there is a database involvement and trust issues, I believe blockchain is one of the solutions. The only problem is the real-time updates of it, because it's distributed. It needs to be real-time and supporting high traffic, high update rates. So that's the challenging part, but it will get better, and it will be a solution where you have lots of database updates. So it sounds like a promising. But tech finding a problem, yeah, like a hammer and nail, you mean? So thanks for joining. We're already 5 minutes. I guess no other question. We can stop. Thank you.